coming up.
Real men are not progressive men. They are more conservative, logical thinking men. Why is it that? How did you become an illogical, progressive
Well, I don't
male?
agree with your question. So now you're framing a question saying that you're saying I'm illogical because I'm progressive.
But you do agree real men are logical and progressive people are illogical, right?
No, I don't agree with that.
Notice that progressive policies seem to be against freedom. Have you noticed that?
I don't agree with that at
It's
all.
all about controlling you. They want to give you free stuff. They want to offer you free health care, free
So
home care,
free health care is
air care.
controlling you. Explain to me how free health care is controlling you.
Because once they give you something, they got you. But you were white.
Right.
And they white,
The banks control everything.
but they white.
Right.
Why didn't they
So
give you white
again,
privilege?
we're getting
white privilege.
listen to me now. Have I enjoyed white privilege throughout times in my life? Yes. Is it all the time? Of course not. I'm middle class. I'm not wealthy.
So
the 1% enjoy it.
So sometimes they treat you like you're black. Real men are not progressive men. They are more conservative, logical thinking men. Why is it that? How did you become an illogical, progressive
Well, I don't
male?
agree with your question. So now you're framing a question saying that you're saying I'm illogical because I'm progressive.
But you do agree real men are logical and progressive people are illogical, right?
No, I don't agree with that
But
statement.
progressive means you don't know what you want, you're confused about things, you're up and down emotionally and mentally.
I don't agree with that statement at all.
Oh, you don't?
No, I don't agree with that
Why
statement.
not?
Because it's not accurate. You're simplifying political and social ideologies into either this or that. So I think human beings are highly complex, and so that's just to say. So any man that's a conservative, that generalization is just as off and ridiculous as a left-leaning person go, oh, all conservative guys, they're all racist, gun-toting Jesus freaks.
But they are.
All right, you're just being, all right, we're just trying to get a lot of likes on this video. Is that what we're trying to do?
But in all seriousness, you don't see real men being a progressive person.
Well, you and I must have
more of
well,
a woman's nature than a man's nature.
Well, see, then your definition of real man and mine might be completely different.
What is a real man?
To me, it's a whole man. He can be strong. He can show his sensitivity. He can.
Sensitivity?
Yeah.
Where do you get that from?
Where do I get that from?
Where
Being
would a
human
real
being.
man get sensitivity from? That's the nature of a woman.
Well, I don't agree with that. So
Why
you don't
not?
have sensitive feelings. You don't watch something and it doesn't make you cry. If something hurts your feelings, you don't express it. You feel like you got to stuff that down. I don't.
Really? Was your father a sensitive man?
Kinda. He was pretty angry.
And did you identify more with him or your mother?
I identified more with him. I mean, I played football. I did all those like man things. I study martial arts, but I don't understand this need to everyone's got to be shoehorned into these simple categories. I don't get it, because I've met too many people all over the world that break down all of these typical classifications or stereotypes.
What's the difference between a man and a woman?
Well, the obvious one.
Besides the physical part, they're changing that now. They're trying to take off the women part and put on men part. You notice that?
Yeah.
So the man must have something going on that even men don't realize. But what's the difference between a man and a woman, other than the physical part?
Well, I mean, there's physiological stuff that we can get into, but also, why does everything have to be defined as either this or that? It's the same definition of like, so you're a black conservative, correct? Well, a black man should be a liberal, a Democrat, correct?
I used to be one, but God forgave me.
Right. So you've broken a cultural or social norm. So why does a definition of a man have to be either this or that? Why can't it be? I study martial arts. If anyone came at me, I'd drop them. And also, I can cry pretty easily because I'm a sensitive dude.
You are?
Yeah.
Does your wife know that?
I don't have a wife.
Well, no wonder.
Oh, that's it. I cry too much.
So what's the difference between a man and a woman?
Again, you keep wanting me to give you it's
Are you
either a
saying
this
there
or,
is no difference?
well, of course there's a difference.
What's other than the physical part? What
Well,
is the
sure.
difference?
Men have testosterone, which can make them more aggressive. Women have hormones and chemicals in their body that can make them more emotional. But that's not to say that men can't. I think the problem is people living out in these cultural extremes. I think we tell young girls, always be nice, always be sweet, and they're never allowed to be angry or aggressive or anything like that. And if they do, we call them crazy. And then we tell little boys, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry. And then we wonder why we have toxic masculinity.
What's toxic masculinity?
Oh, toxic masculinity is being like overly male. Everything's got to either be.
You can't be overly male. Either you're male or not. You cannot be overly male.
I think you can. I think you can be too aggressive, like a meathead, like a big fighty meathead. Because that man doesn't know how to express his other sensitive emotions. So the only thing he has is fighting
But
or
a man
anger.
that is sensitive is a woman.
No, that's ridiculous.
But women hate weak men, and for a man to be sensitive, now they
Some
want.
women do. I don't. Yeah, I just don't agree with that.
I
don't-
guarantee you have never met, and you will never meet a woman that loves a sensitive man. They'll say they do to draw you in, and then they'll wipe the floor with you.
Dude, I'm sorry you've had a lot of women mistreat you, but that don't lump me into that category, my friend. I'm real sorry.
Do you have children?
No, sir.
Oh, thank God.
I know.
You be having sensitive children.
Oh no, what if I had sensitive children? What if I had a young boy that was like sensitive and caring and he wasn't a meathead that fought everybody?
He'll get beat up going to school.
No,
and
he
come
wouldn't.
home.
He'd know martial arts like me. Anybody calls me sensitive or wants to come at me, you can make fun of me all you want. Someone tries to put their hands on me, I'm going to feed it to them. And then I'm going to feel bad.
But don't let the
after I
women
say-
know that.
What? Don't let women know that I'm a martial artist?
Right. They don't want you to be an alpha male. They want you to be a beta male, a sensitive male. So, and one last thing about that. In being sensitive, are you saying sometimes you feel like a man and sometimes you feel like a woman?
No, I'm saying, here's the thing. I'll say this. The men who feel like, and we're conditioned to feel like being sensitive makes us weak or strong, or I don't want to show my weakness. So the fact that I'm not afraid to show my weakness or my sensitivity or my vulnerability means I'm actually stronger and more of a man than anybody.
Amazing. And so I've never heard of anyone conditioning you to be a man. Who conditioned you to be sensitive? Because men are not conditioned to be strong. They're naturally that way. They're born that way. They're created that way. Nobody told me to be strong, to be a man. It's in me to be that way. Who told
But somebody
you that?
told you when you were crying as a little child to shut up, don't cry. That somebody conditioned you to be that way, to think that
But
is a form
likewise,
of
they
weakness
would-
when it isn't.
They would tell
Correct?
my-
Correct? Oh, you didn't
yeah,
answer my... Okay.
Right. But they also say that to my sisters too. Stop whining. Stand up. Don't whine. It's a weakness. It's a sign of weakness. So what you're saying, the sensitivity of a man or a woman is a weakness.
You're saying that. I just told you I do not think that. So we need to just kind of agree to disagree here, friend, because I don't agree with you.
Amazing. What would happen to you if you became a real man? What do you think would happen to you?
Well, I am a real man.
I mean,
Not by your definition, but by mine. So.
A non-sensitive man, what would happen to you if one
Well, I
day-
can tell you what would happen. I would be in more fights. I would be in more trouble. I went to jail when I was this. This is toxic masculinity. Your definition of a real man is what I define as toxic
But I've
masculinity.
never been in jail.
I stuffed. You're asking me my question. How
Right.
would I react, Jesse?
Yeah.
I stuffed it down, and then everything was a fight. Everything was a fight, and I started studying Buddhism and martial arts. And I realized that victory comes with the sword still in the scabbard. So any guy that was challenging me, I got scars. I spent nights in jail. So,
But I've never been in jail all my life. And I had one fight in my life.
so you're not a real man then. If you haven't gotten in a lot of fights, you're not a real man.
know how to deal with issues without fighting. A sensitive man end up in fights.
I don't agree.
Progressive policies seem to be against freedom. Have you noticed that?
I don't agree with that at
It's
all.
all about controlling you. They want to give you free stuff. They want to offer you free health care, free
So
home care,
free health care is
everything.
controlling you. Explain to me how free health care is controlling you.
Because once they give you something, they got you.
Oh, and you think right now paying the number one cause of bankruptcy in America is medical bills. And you think that's so free, having to file bankruptcy because I can't afford a basic human right.
Right.
That's ridiculous.
And let me tell you why that is, because the government got it so where you're limited as to where you can buy health care. You can't cross state line, you can't do this and do that. They have restricted you.
Have you ever done any research into where money is spent? The healthcare lobby spends in both parties equally.
Well,
That's why we don't have free healthcare.
but if we have freedom to buy cross state line or whatever we want, they can do that. But they only doing it because men like you and Cortez and those women of color want free stuff.
No, it's a basic human right, and there's 22 countries
Oh,
in the
I
world.
just thought of something.
There's 22 countries in the world that have free health care.
You said you believe in white privilege, right? That doesn't mean that we should do it just because someone else is doing it.
But their quality of life is
But
better.
they're not an example for us.
So
The
there's
quality
10
of-
cities all over the place. You're happy with that? You think that's good?
That's the Democrats' fault.
Oh.
They need to send them back home.
Oh.
But let me ask you this.
What about American people that lost their homes in the 2008 crash, which was a result of
Good
Obama and
question.
Bush?
They voted for a Democrat.
Well, and Bush, but it
They
started
voted
under
for a
Bush.
Democrat.
The
It ended with
recession.
the fall of Messiah, though.
It was started
He
under
took
Bush.
them under.
Sure, he could have fixed it and didn't, but it
Yeah.
happened under Bush.
But yeah,
do you think
you
there's a
vote for
difference
them.
between the two parties? Do you think Coke and Pepsi
I
are
think
different?
there's
do you
a
think
different
professional
now,
wrestling
but
is
you're right
real?
about that. There's no difference between.
You think
the-
professional wrestling is real?
No, listen. There's no. No, I don't. There's no difference between the right-o Republicans and the godless Democrats. They're all the same, except that President Trump has taken it to a new level in that he loved the people. He put his country first. He's a nationalist.
No, he's a greedy capitalist.
I gotta ask you this.
He takes his own tax. He goes golfing on your tax dollars.
That's fine. Obama did it every day.
Yeah, but Obama never golfed. Trump.
Obama never golfed.
So when you see all these
Did you
poor
say
people, out
Obama
here-
never golfed?
never not the way Trump did.
Did
Trump,
you say he never golfed?
Yeah, I don't think. When did he golf?
He went to Martha Vineyard and everybody else vineyard.
But did he golf?
He tried. He golfed the black way. So let me do this. You say you believe in white privilege, right?
I don't believe in it, but I've seen it. I've seen it.
And have you had white privilege before?
Yeah.
Given white privilege.
Yeah.
Why weren't you given that when you lost your apartment then? Since you were white privilege,
Oh, right.
they should have said, this is a white man. He has the privilege to keep his place until he can pay or until he can
Sure.
do something else.
Well,
Why
that
did
level
they
of
give
white
you
privilege,
the white
no.
privilege
I didn't
then?
get it then because the banks control everything.
But you were white.
Right.
And they white,
The banks control everything.
but they white.
Right.
Why didn't they
So
give you white
again,
privilege?
we're getting into your like one term. You're gonna one size fits all. Like you took a vitamin, Graham. How come your knee hurts? Don't So if you're saying I'm saying vitamins don't work. You're making these crazy equations.
you white
have
privilege.
I listen to me now? Have I enjoyed white privilege throughout times in my life? Yes. Is it all the time? Of course not. I'm middle class. I'm not wealthy.
So-
the 1% enjoy it.
So sometimes they treat you like you're black.
Sure.
So you lose your white privilege card at times?
Again, the ruling class, the 1%,
Are they white?
mostly, but not entirely. That's the thing.
Are
When
they
pe-
black too?
Some, yeah.
Yeah. So they take away your white privilege card?
I didn't say that. I said there's times I've enjoyed white privilege and I've seen it, and there's times I've gotten screwed over just like anyone else.
Let me ask, should black people get reparation?
I've read an interesting thing about American descendants of slavery, and their case is very compelling.
Should they get reparations?
Yes.
How about the Indians?
Yes, absolutely. Native Americans absolutely should.
How about the Mexicans?
No. I mean, they have their own country. They didn't have their land taken away.
How about the Mexicans' mama? No, I'm messing with you. What kind of reparations should they get?
You know, I did a video on this, and there was a website that I went to, and it's been several months. I would have to go through. They've laid out very well, in my opinion, and they're very clear, like you have to be a descendant of slavery to get, and some of the reparations were like changing some of the laws and stuff like that. I'd have to go back and go through that website, but I agreed with it.
I don't know if you know or not, but I was born on a plantation in Alabama, and I grew up under the Jim Crow laws, colors on the signs and all that. Black people were better off then than they are today because they had family, they had God in their lives. They didn't blame white people or anyone else for their problem. They owned land, they worked hard, they treated people the way they would like to be treated, and they were not begging and women and whining. So I totally disagree that they need reparation. Problem with them now is that their families are broken, they hate God, they're begging and whining and blaming, and they have white people on the run.